Hey, what's up? It's Mr. Believe. And if you're enjoying these videos, be sure to subscribe, like, comment, and share at the end of these videos so other people can enjoy these videos as well. Yo, Kev B, Mr. Believe, I'm back. And today what I'm talking about is managing your expectations. I wanted to talk about expectations. And in this episode, when I'm referring to expectations, I mean expectations that we put on others. Recently, I have been doing a lot more meditation, and it's been allowing me to be a lot more mindful every day in certain situations where in the past I would have found myself, maybe acting out or responding in a less than desirable manner. I've come to find that daily meditation really helps with me to be mindful every day in daily situations. So I'm much more aware of things that's going on and things that's happening. So I don't get too emotionally involved or emotionally charged when somebody does something opposite of what I may expect or think that they should be doing. And for me, I feel as though we sometimes allow our expectations of people to skew the way we treat people. So, for example, I have this where I just think like, okay, I believe everyone, does certain things every day. And I take that assumption that, okay, if I speak to somebody sometimes, you kind of have an assumption that you place the assumption on that person from where you're at. And that is a very unfair thing. Because it's more so like, rather than you just being present and aware in the moment, you're projecting yourself onto that person. And when that person doesn't meet or qualify for the minimum standards, you kind of look at them standoffish, like, how can you not do that? Or how you don't know that? Or how you not do that all the time? But you have to understand that when you make those statements or those assumptions and you say, how can you not? Or I just don't get why you can't get it. It's an assumption placing on that person based on what you see or how you were brought up. See, the way we're raised and the way we see the world is very skewed. Every individual person has a perspective of how they view the world, and everyone's lens is tinted. So you have to be mindful and be proactive in thinking of the other person. Being mindful that this other person did not live your life. This other person did not grow up the way you grew up. So for you to now say, oh, how come you don't? Oh, dang, you don't do that? Like, I thought everybody. When you make those type of broad statements, you are passing judgment on someone. And that's not fair to anyone. Because the same measure that you measure somebody with is what's going to be measured back against you. And sometimes, I'm not even going to say sometimes, most of the times, the faults or the wrongs that we see in other people is a reflection of our own selves. Yes, that person may be lazy. Yes, that person may be dirty, filthy. They may scatter their things everywhere. But if you find yourself always hanging out with this same person that you find these undesirables about. But those same undesirables are bothering you. The problem is not with that other person. Yes, they have their own issues that they need to address. But at the core of the problem of what's causing your agitation is the fact that you have those same exact issues. Because we project. So whatever you see in somebody, trust me, there are traces of that in you. And it may not be to the same capacity as that person. But because of human nature, you kind of set yourself on this pedestal and you look down on people when they don't do what you expect for them to do. And the reason why I'm talking like this is because as entrepreneurs, we have to be very mindful of the space that we keep, the space around us, the people that we keep in our environment, because it all contributes to our energy and where we're going to be focusing our energies on a day-to-day basis, on a minute-to-minute basis. And it's very important that we remain aware and understand that we are not in our own selves putting out negativity into the atmosphere. So we have to be aware of that, because any little sliver of where you allow negativity to come in and where you're not being honest with yourself first, honest, brutally honest. The only person you can be brutally honest with, I've come to realize, is yourself. Because when you're brutally honest with other people, it comes off as you're a know-it-all, you're judgmental. So the way that you approach it when you deal with other people is you have to be much more empathetic and understanding to their plight. It just goes back to that age-old adage of you get more bees with honey than you would with vinegar. And I think about that and I say, it's very true, man. And a lot of times we lose the compassion for people just because we may feel a certain type of way, or we don't know where this feeling is coming from, and it agitates us that this person is doing this or doing that. But I challenge us to really go deep and look at the root core of it. Because if it's something that's truly bothering you like that, but you always find yourself around that person, it's something inside of you that's attracting you to that person. Remember, like attracts like. So if that person is in your immediate circle and they're close enough to constantly aggravate you with a certain thing, that person, whatever it is, you have symptoms of that within you. And the reason why it aggravates you is because when you see it in that person, it reminds the deeper you, the inner conscious of you, what you're not doing. And that's where the friction comes in. And it's like, dang, why you can't just get better? But really, it's talking to yourself subconsciously. Why can't you? Why aren't you? Why don't you? Remember, you got to be the change that you wish to see in the world. So if you want people to be more friendly or more of any type of attribute, it starts with you. Because then you will begin to attract those type of attributes to you. If you're more friendly, more communicative, more approachable to other people, remember, like attracts like. You will begin to see people be more communicative, more appreciative of you. So if you're seeing a lot of negativity around you, like attracts like. It's not the people around you. It's not because you have these expectations of people. It's because the expectations you have of yourself that you have not fulfilled. And for whatever reason, you've put it off. You've given yourself excuses for why you can't do it. I'm too busy. I'm too tired. I'm too this. I'm too that. But deep down inside, you know what knows? I believe everyone is a spiritual being. And I believe everyone's spiritual being is a giant. meaning that these mortal bodies that we live in are a minuscule representation of how great and grandiose we really are. I mean, just look at the complexity of how the body is made and the intricacy of it. How great and designed just the mind is. Just this. And this just turns into nothing. But then to operate this body, the operator is always usually smarter or greater than the one doing the actual thing. So these bodies are the ones actually living this, but the spirit and the mind that's driving it is much more greater. And when we tap into that greatness, you'll begin to understand and see that the things that aggravated you about people, you now can help people because you're going to fix that in you. Those things that used to look at people and say, God damn, why you can't change? You'll begin to say, you know what? Let me help you change that. It won't bother you as much anymore. It won't aggravate you as much anymore. You'll actually start to have compassion and empathy for these people because you know what you did first? You checked yourself. You looked within yourself and you gave yourself those hard questions. You asked yourself the hard questions and you answered them. You took those hard actions and you began to really expect of yourself what you expect of others. You started to hold yourself to the same level of accountability, but greater than what you hold others to. And when you do that, your expectation of others diminishes because you no longer hold them accountable to a standard that they have to meet for you because it's already been fulfilled in you. They don't have to do a certain thing or be a certain way. If they're just not that person, the person that you become by holding yourself accountable and sticking to your expectations and holding your expectations high, you will naturally drift away from that person because you have no use. Your energies will diverge. But if that person is truly supposed to be and meant to be in your life and you guys are really together, your energy will now begin to change them. Like it will begin to bring them along. You will be the example for them. So we just have to understand, as I come to a close, expectations that we put and we have on other people, I feel, and this is my opinion, I'm not a certified doctor, I didn't go to school and study this. This is from me studying myself and understanding and seeing the growth that I've taken myself and meditating on it myself, and now I'm just repeating it back to you guys. So don't go and say, Kev, Mr. Believe told me this and it ain't working, so now I want to do this and I want to do that, ... No, what I'm saying is that you hold yourself accountable. Whatever expectation that you have of anybody else, you make sure that first and foremost, you fit the bill for that expectation. First and foremost. First and foremost, whatever thing that aggravates you about other people, you make sure that there's no traces of that in your life. First and foremost. Because remember, you have to be the change that you want to see. Like attracts like. So when you start to change your perspective and change your environment and change your expectations for yourself, you begin to see the world differently. You begin to attract to yourself different things that you'll see. Your attention will no longer be on the things that are beneath you. Your attention will begin to rise. And so will your consciousness. So let's do that work. I challenge you. Be more mindful today. Where can you manage your expectations of people? And in what areas can you raise the expectations that you have for yourself? What areas can you raise the level of accountability of yourself? What areas can you be 10x? What areas are you lacking your effort? You could tell me it's none. But I guarantee you, if you're not where you say you need to be, there's many areas where you're lacking. And you're still giving yourself a way out. Burn those bridges. Burn those excuses. Put your back against the wall. When I used to coach football, one of the coaches that I coached with would tell this story about the Vikings. And whenever the Vikings would go to a foreign land, they would burn their ship. Because they wanted their soldiers to know that either we're going to die taking over this land, or we're going to die, period. There's no going back. Don't give yourself an out. Don't give yourself a way back. When your back is against the wall and the only place you can go is forward, you'd be surprised how far you will go. But when you give yourself a way out and you give yourself excuses, you hold other people to higher expectations than you hold of yourself, you give other people other higher standards than you had to yourself, and you blame everybody else around you for not keeping up to your expectations, that's why you're falling short. Check yourself. Remember, as entrepreneurs, we hold ourselves accountable. There's nobody going to hold you accountable. There's nobody's going to make sure you wake up every single day and do what you got to do. That's between you and your why. Why are you doing this? If it isn't big enough, if it isn't great enough, trust me, it's not going to be enough. Find a why and a reason to go hard and give your 110%, 10x effort every single time. And let's crush it, man. Kev B, Mr. Believe.